Thank you for accessing the Databank's Corrective Action Plans training video, Corrective Action Plans for Compliance with Reporting Requirements. In this training video, we will explore the addition of the Corrective Action Plan process to the compliance page. To ensure that all state licensing boards report to the Databank as required by law, the Division of Practitioner Databanks, also known as DPDB, has embarked upon an ongoing compliance effort. DPDB is responsible for the operation of the Databank. Let's take a look at the Databank's compliance program. State licensing boards, which license or certify healthcare practitioners, are required by law to report actions to the Databank. These actions must be reported within 30 days of the date the action was taken. The Databank monitors and assists licensing boards with reporting responsibilities through the Databank's compliance program. We have been working through the Adverse Licensure Action Comparison Project to ensure a one-to-one match between actions taken and reports submitted for the 12 most queried professions. These professions are physician, dentist, nurse, pharmacist, chiropractor, psychologist, podiatrist, social work, optometry, physical therapy, physician assistant, and behavioral health, including a review of the allied health professions in each, such as dental assistant, nursing assistant, pharmacy technician, and so on. Finally, the results of these compliance efforts have been and will continue to be posted on the Databank's public website and can be accessed from the website's front page via the links in the Statistics and Compliance Data section. Occasionally, state boards may not have submitted all reportable actions to the Databank. When this occurs, the board will be out of compliance with Databank reporting requirements. State boards are obligated to report all missing reportable actions in order to become compliant. When necessary, the Databank will formalize a plan with the state board to make sure the missing reportable actions are submitted. This plan is called a Corrective Action Plan, also known as a CAP. You will receive notification in your Databank account if your organization is required to submit a Corrective Action Plan. The notification will include the date the Corrective Action Plan is due. The notification will alert you of the time period that the CAP covers and of the missing reportable actions that must be submitted. When completing the Corrective Action Plan, your organization must indicate the number of reports it plans to submit during a specified time frame. Before your Corrective Action Plan can be implemented for the missing actions we have identified, it must first be approved by the Databank. While your organization is in the process of reporting missing actions in accordance with your approved Corrective Action Plan, your organization will be considered working toward compliance. If you do not submit the Corrective Action Plan by the due date or report missing actions within the specified time frame, the profession covered by the Corrective Action Plan will be publicly listed as non-compliant. So let's take a look at how this process will work. After being notified by the Databank and working with your compliance officer, you will receive an email that a Corrective Action Plan is required for your licensing board. After signing in to the Databank system, on the Options page, you will see a yellow alert box around the compliance options. Select the Compliance button. Once you are on the Compliance page, select the Messages button. On the Messages page, you will see there is a new message. Select the new message to view it. The secure message will inform you that a Corrective Action Plan is required. Select Go to CAP and start filling in the Corrective Action Plan. The Corrective Action Plan page will inform you of the number of missing reportable actions from the Databank. You will be able to select the link to view the complete list. You are required to inform the Databank of the number of reports you will submit and the time frame for which you plan to submit the reports. This will include an expected start date and an expected completion date for submission. By completing the Corrective Action Plan, you are also agreeing to submit all future reports in a timely manner. The Corrective Action Plan must be filled in. For this example, the number of reports will be 3 per week. The expected start date will be February 18th, 2013. The end date will be July 8th, 2013. And in the additional notes for the compliance officer box, we will enter, once we have completed staff training, we will be adding additional users to submit reports. The certification information will also need to be completed. For example, name of board representative, Jane Doe. Title, State Board License Specialist. Phone number, 703-555-1212. Email address, janedoe@stateboard.gov. And then select Certify. Notice that the Corrective Action Plan is now pending review and approval by the data bank. Your compliance officer will review your information and you will receive a confirmation once the review is complete. So let us now view the Corrective Action Plans for this entity by selecting the Corrective Action Plans button. Notice you can view the Corrective Action Plan at any time. Currently, the status of the Physical Therapist Corrective Action Plan is pending, while the compliance officer reviews it for approval. After your compliance officer has reviewed and approved the CAP, you will receive an email saying that your Corrective Action Plan has been approved. Now, when you return to the compliance page, you will see the Approved Corrective Action Plan in the Documents section of the Compliance page. Let's take a look at the CAP. On the CAP confirmation page, we can see that the Corrective Action Plan has been approved by the data bank. We can see the approved CAP data along with the current number of missing reportable actions. Now we will return to the Compliance page by selecting the Return to Compliance button. Here on the Compliance page, we can see the alerts for Compliance Actions, Messages, and Corrective Action Plan. We will select Corrective Action Plan. On the Corrective Action Plans page, we will see Physical Therapy Assistant and Physical Therapist. Since we have completed and received approval for the Physical Therapist's Corrective Action Plan, let's see what happens when the data bank requests a Corrective Action Plan on a different profession. We will select Physical Therapy Assistant. Here we can see Physical Therapy Assistant with 40 unresolved missing actions. The Corrective Action Plan will need to be completed in the same way it was done earlier. The number of reports we plan to complete for this example is 1 per month. The expected start date is March 1st, 2013, and the expected completion date is July 1st, 2016. For the purpose of this example, we will leave the Additional Notes for the Compliance Officer box blank. In the same manner as before, complete the certification information and then select Certify. The Corrective Action Plan is submitted and is pending review and approval by the data bank. The compliance officer will review the information and a confirmation will be sent once the review is complete. In this example, the data bank reviews the Corrective Action Plan and determines that the Corrective Action Plan needs revision. An email will be sent stating that rework of the Corrective Action Plan is required. Signing back into the data bank system and returning to the compliance page, we can see that there is a new message. Select the Messages button. On the Messages page, you will see there is a new message. Select the new message to view it. Reading the secure message, we see that the compliance officer has asked for a report to be submitted every week instead of every month. Select Return to Compliance. Back on the compliance page, select Corrective Action Plan. The Corrective Action Plan requiring modification is highlighted. Select the highlighted plan to update the CAP. On the Corrective Action Plan, we will update the details to match the increased reporting rate. The number of reports will be updated to 1 per week. The completion date will be updated to January 1st, 2014. And in the note box we will add, "The cap has been updated per our agreement." As before, add the certification information and select Certify. The Corrective Action Plan is now pending and will be reviewed again for approval by the Compliance Officer. Select Corrective Action Plans. Returning to the Corrective Action Plans page, we see that the Corrective Action Plan for Physical Therapy Assistant is pending approval, and the other Corrective Action Plan for Physical Therapist is unresolved. The reason the Physical Therapist plan is unresolved is that it was previously approved, but not all the missing actions have been reported. Thus, the Corrective Action Plan is still open. A short time later, an email is sent stating that the resubmitted Corrective Action Plan was approved by the databank. When you return to the compliance page, you will see the approved Corrective Action Plan for Physical Therapy Assistant in the Documents section of the compliance page. This concludes our presentation on the Corrective Action Plans feature. We hope this information has been helpful. If you have questions about or need help with the Corrective Action Plans process, please contact your assigned compliance officer. Your assigned compliance officer is listed on the compliance screen in the databank system. Thank you for accessing the databank's Corrective Action Plans training video.